What if I told you that the bond you shared with your pet did not end with their final breath? What if death, as painful and final as it feels, is not the end of that relationship at all? What if the unconditional love that met you at the door, curled beside you at night, or followed you from room to room is still very much alive, just beyond the limits of what our eyes can see? This idea may sound impossible, even shocking, but one of the most mysterious spiritual teachers of the 20th century claimed exactly that. His name was Edgar Cayce, and his readings left behind a message that has comforted millions and unsettled just as many. According to Cayce, the love between humans and animals does not simply disappear. In some cases, he suggested, it returns. Edgar Cayce, often called the sleeping prophet, delivered thousands of psychic readings while in a trance state. These readings covered health, history, reincarnation, and the nature of the soul. Among them were lesser-known but deeply emotional insights about animals, pets, and their spiritual role in our lives. Cayce rejected the idea that animals were mere instinct-driven creatures without purpose beyond survival. Instead, he described animals as souls in development, moving through stages of consciousness much like humans, but along a different path. According to Cayce's readings, animals do possess a soul, though not in the same individualized way humans do. He explained that animals are group souls, expressions of a collective spiritual consciousness that evolves through experience and association with humans. However, Cayce made a striking distinction when it came to pets. Animals that form close emotional bonds with humans, especially those raised in loving homes, begin to develop individuality. They move beyond the group soul and take on unique spiritual identity. This is where the idea becomes truly unsettling and fascinating. Cayce suggested that animals who develop this individuality may continue their soul journey after death in surprising ways. In several readings, he indicated that beloved pets can return, sometimes reincarnating into another animal body and re-entering the life of the same human family. Not as a coincidence, not as a look-alike, but as a continuation of a shared soul connection. Cayce emphasized that this does not happen randomly. It is driven by love, attachment, and unfinished spiritual purpose. When an animal and a human form a deep bond, one based on care, mutual affection, and emotional recognition, that bond creates a spiritual imprint. According to Cayce, love is a creative force. It shapes destiny. It draws souls back together. If you have ever felt that a new pet seemed to recognize you instantly or behaved in eerily familiar ways, Cayce would say that this may not be imagination. He believed memory is not stored only in the brain, but in the soul itself. Habits, affections, and emotional patterns can carry over from one lifetime to another, especially when reinforced by love. Cayce also warned against misunderstanding this idea. He did not claim that every pet returns, or that humans should expect reincarnation as a guarantee. Instead, he stressed free will and soul readiness. Some animal souls continue evolving through other experiences. Some dissolve back into the group soul. Others may move forward into higher expressions of consciousness. The return of a pet, according to Cayce, is rare and purposeful, not automatic. This concept raises profound questions about grief. When a pet dies, the pain can feel unbearable. Society often minimizes this loss, yet for many people, the bond with a pet is as deep as any human relationship. Cayce acknowledged this pain and offered a quiet reassurance. He suggested that the love shared is never wasted. It becomes part of the soul record, influencing both the human and the animal long after physical separation. He also explained that animals serve as spiritual teachers. Through them, humans learn responsibility, compassion, patience, and unconditional love. In Cayce's view, pets help soften the human heart. They prepare the soul for higher spiritual awareness. When a pet dies, that lesson does not vanish. It integrates into who we are becoming. Perhaps the most comforting part of Cayce's message is this: no love is ever truly lost. Whether or not a pet returns in physical form, the connection remains active on a soul level. Cayce suggested that in spiritual realms, beyond the physical, souls recognize one another instantly, without words or bodies. The joy of reunion is natural and immediate. So when you feel your pet's presence after they are gone, Cayce would say you are not imagining things. Many people report sensing a familiar energy, hearing paws that are no longer there, or feeling comfort during moments of deep sadness. Cayce explained that sensitivity increases during grief. The veil between physical awareness and spiritual perception becomes thinner. Love, especially love mixed with loss, heightens perception. In several readings, Cayce spoke about the spiritual dimensions that exist alongside our physical world. These realms are not distant places, but states of vibration. Souls, he said, move through these dimensions according to their spiritual development. Animals that have formed strong emotional bonds with humans may linger near those they love, not trapped but attentive, not haunting, not suffering, simply present. This idea challenges traditional beliefs that animals lack spiritual awareness after death. Cayce rejected that notion entirely. He believed animals are conscious in ways humans often underestimate. While they may not reason intellectually as humans do, they perceive emotionally and spiritually with remarkable clarity. Their loyalty, affection, and intuition are expressions of that awareness. Cayce also addressed a question many grieving pet owners quietly ask themselves: can my pet see me now? According to his readings, awareness does not end with physical death. He suggested that animals retain recognition of those they loved, especially when the bond was strong and nurturing. This recognition exists beyond physical form, through spiritual resonance, rather than sight or sound. Another striking element of Cayce's teachings involves timing. If a pet does return through reincarnation, the timing is often aligned with emotional readiness. He believed souls are drawn together when growth can occur. A returning animal soul may arrive when the human has healed enough to love again, yet still carries the memory of that bond. Love becomes the bridge between lifetimes. This may explain why some people feel an instant connection to a new pet that defies logic. The familiarity can feel overwhelming. The animal may mirror behaviors, preferences, or emotional responses of a previous companion. Cayce would say these patterns are not random. They are echoes of a shared past, carried forward through the soul. However, Cayce was careful to emphasize responsibility. He warned that humans should never attempt to force spiritual outcomes. Grief can lead to desperation, and desperation clouds perception. Expectation can distort intuition. Cayce advised allowing love to unfold naturally, without clinging to outcomes. True spiritual connection, he taught, is never forced. Cayce also spoke about the ethical treatment of animals. Because animals are souls in development, how humans treat them matters deeply. Kindness accelerates their growth. Cruelty delays it. The way we treat animals reflects our own spiritual maturity. Pets, in particular, were seen by Cayce as entrusted souls, placed in human care for mutual growth. From this perspective, the loss of a pet is not meaningless suffering. It is a transition point, a moment that invites reflection, compassion, and spiritual deepening. Cayce believed that grief, when processed with love rather than despair, expands the soul's capacity for empathy. He taught that humans and animals are co-creators in one another's spiritual evolution. The pet offers unconditional love. The human offers guidance and protection. Both grow through the relationship, and when physical separation occurs, that growth does not stop. In Cayce's view, the universe is relational. Nothing exists in isolation. Every bond leaves an imprint. Every act of love echoes beyond time. And every soul remembers love, no matter the form it once took. One of the most misunderstood aspects of Edgar Cayce's work is his discussion of reincarnation itself. Cayce did not present reincarnation as fantasy or punishment. He described it as a process of learning, refinement, and balance. Souls return to physical experience to develop qualities they have not yet mastered. Love, patience, trust, and compassion are among the most important of these lessons. When applied to animals, this framework becomes deeply moving. Cayce suggested that animals close to humans are learning emotional qualities that prepare them for higher states of consciousness. In some readings, he even hinted that advanced animal souls may eventually incarnate as humans, having learned the foundations of love and loyalty through companionship. This does not mean every pet is destined for human incarnation. Cayce emphasized individuality and readiness. Growth occurs gradually, but the implication is profound. The love shared with a pet may be part of a much larger journey than we realize. Cayce also addressed why animals suffer, age, and die. He acknowledged the pain this causes humans, but explained that physical limitation is part of soul development. Mortality teaches impermanence. Loss teaches detachment without detachment from love. These lessons are difficult, yet essential. In grief, many people ask why such pure love must end in pain. Cayce's answer was simple but challenging. Love does not end. Only form changes. Pain arises from attachment to form, not from the loss of love itself. This does not invalidate grief. Instead, it reframes it as a doorway rather than a dead end. Cayce encouraged those mourning a pet to honor the bond through memory and gratitude rather than despair. He believed gratitude elevates vibration. It aligns the soul with healing rather than stagnation. Speaking a pet's name with love, recalling joyful moments, and releasing guilt were all seen as spiritually beneficial. He also discouraged guilt over euthanasia when done with compassion. Cayce acknowledged that relieving suffering, when motivated by love rather than convenience, does not harm the soul of the animal or the human. Intention, he taught, matters more than action alone. Many of Cayce's readings stressed that animals do not judge humans the way humans judge themselves. Pets live in the present. They do not hold resentment or regret. Their love is immediate and forgiving. Carrying guilt after a pet's death, according to Cayce, burdens the human soul unnecessarily. Another remarkable aspect of Cayce's philosophy is his view of time. He suggested that from a soul perspective, time is fluid. What feels like years to a human may feel like moments to a soul. Reunion, whether physical or spiritual, is not delayed in the way humans perceive it. This means that even if a pet does not return in physical form, reunion on a spiritual level is not distant. It is immediate once the soul transitions beyond physical awareness. Cayce believed recognition is instantaneous, guided by vibration rather than memory. He taught that love acts as a spiritual signature. Souls recognize one another by frequency, not appearance. This is why relationships feel instantly familiar in some cases. It is not chance. It is resonance. Cayce's teachings ultimately point to a universe governed by order, not randomness. Loss has meaning. Love has continuity. And the bonds formed in sincerity are never erased. For those willing to consider these ideas, grief becomes something more than pain. It becomes a transformation, a reminder that love extends further than we were taught to believe. So do dead pets really come back? Edgar Cayce did not offer a simple yes or no. Instead, he offered something deeper. He suggested that love itself returns, sometimes through memory, sometimes through spiritual presence, and in rare cases, through physical form. The real message in Cayce's readings is not about proof, but about perspective. If love is eternal, then separation is temporary. If souls evolve, then relationships are chapters, not endings. The pain of loss does not contradict love's power. It confirms it. Cayce reminded us that humans are not meant to cling to the past, but neither are we meant to deny it. The healthiest path lies between remembrance and release, holding love without grasping, honoring connection without demanding its return. In this way, pets become profound spiritual teachers. They teach us how to love without conditions, how to live in the present, and how to let go without closing the heart. These lessons, Cayce believed, are among the most important a soul can learn. If you are grieving a pet, Cayce's work offers a quiet reassurance. Your love was not wasted. Your bond was real. And whatever form it takes now, it continues to shape both souls involved. Perhaps the true question is not whether pets come back, but whether love ever leaves. Cayce would say it does not. Love transforms. It follows the soul. It waits patiently beyond fear and doubt. And sometimes, when the moment is right, it finds its way back into our lives in ways that feel impossibly familiar. A look, a gesture, a presence that feels like home. Whether you interpret this as spiritual truth or symbolic comfort, the message remains the same. Love endures. Connection matters. And the relationships we form with animals are far more sacred than we were ever taught to believe. So the next time you think of a pet you have lost, do not ask where they went. Ask instead what they gave you, what they awakened in you, what part of your heart they helped shape. Because according to Edgar Cayce, nothing that touches the soul with love is ever truly gone. It simply changes form, waiting for the moment when recognition becomes possible again.